We swapped roles in dating and now nobody's happy. Men and women both have basically changed their gender roles, ultimately. I mean, think about it. Men are walking around now with ponytails and man buns, and some guys paint their nails. I've seen more and more guys sitting in the passenger seat, not driving anymore. More guys are working in tech and insurance, female dominated work environments, and I think that kind of affects guys over time. And then, the same thing for women. More women are working, as plumbers and electricians and carpenters and, getting full sleeves, bunch of skulls all over their hands and over their arms and, neck tattoos and face tattoos, getting those cattle piercings in their nose. And it's all just very tribal and masculine and, just against the grain and, like rebelling ultimately. But I'm not attracted to that at all. I am really not. I don't want to date a plumber or an electrician or a welder. To be honest, if I was going to, I'd probably date another guy. It would be easier. I'm just not interested. I like a feminine woman, not a plumber. And I mean, that's just personal kind of preference, I guess, ultimately. But the same thing is happening for women too. Is, they don't want to date the soy boy. They don't want to date a guy with a ponytail. And they may say they do, but they actually don't. And I think their actions kind of show. They say that they want a guy that cries and is emotionally available and yada yada yada. You hear all these things, especially on like dating app bios. You must be emotionally available. I don't even know what that means really, but go cry in front of your girlfriend. It's not going to go well. They lose respect for men. Basically whatever a woman says, for the most part, it's kind of the opposite, and it really is. They say they want somebody emotionally available, but in reality, they want somebody strong and independent and is able to lead and, has all those attributes. They don't want somebody that's sitting in the corner of the couch crying and, wanting to stay at home and do all the dishes and clean. That just never goes well. So this dating role, like role reversal that we have, it's just not working out. I think more and more people are really starting to catch on to it that, it's a sham. A man is supposed to be a man and a woman is supposed to be a woman. Whether you're gay or not and you date within, that's your own prerogative, that's fine. But when you try starting to say like, hey, men should be working in, insurance or like more female-led positions and more women need to be in the trades. That just skews reality. And maybe some guys are attracted to that. Maybe they are. Maybe guys like, all tattooed women and things like that. But the thing is women don't understand that they attract the wrong guy. I think a lot of people want just like a nice life. And, if you have like tattoos all over your hands, you're going to attract a certain person like that. I'm a regular guy working construction. I got my dog, my little townhouse, I have my garden, and I just do my thing. But I'm not interested in being with a woman that is trying to act like a man. I feel resented a lot of the times for just being me. But here's the thing. Men build the world basically. And I'll catch flack for saying that, but the majority of men are plumbers, the majority of men are firefighters, the majority of men are garbage men. I think like 99.99% of people that pump outhouses are men. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the backbone of the nation. But we're treated like shit nowadays. And now men don't really have anywhere to go to be with other guys. We've all, men are pretty seclusive. If there's not like a bar or something like that, I've found for the most part men just kind of do their own things. They have their couple people that they talk to, and that's about it. But when there's years and years of just hatred and all these things that are said towards men, it eventually catches up. And I know for myself, after hearing it for years and years and years, like, don't approach us, don't do this, men are pieces of shit. And eventually I just pull back and I just say, I'm not going to be part of any of it. I don't want to date a woman. I'm not going to go up and talk to them in public, because God forbid I end up on a camera doing that. Men, it's the craziest thing is women wanted everything to be equal, and I don't think there's a single problem with that at all. I don't think that just because you're a woman you should be paid less or thought of in any different way. But we've went to such an extreme, feminism has went to such an extreme that men are now the oppressed ones. I think it's like 60% or more of university graduates are now women, when it used to be predominantly male. And it would have been cool to just go 50-50 if that's how it should have been. But now, like I say, it's now the majority women that are in universities. And, you could just go on forever about that, on how everything is just completely flipped. And the craziest thing is most people don't even seem satisfied with where it is. All I see all the time is, rebelling against the patriarchy. And, you still hear things about the gender pay gap. But it's always on like one-sided though. Go pull up models' pay wages. I know for a fact that women are paid 10, 20, 100x more than male models. You don't hear that. And I don't care. I personally don't care. Because I think things are based upon individual merit. Not on, just guilt tripping and feeling bad because you're part of a group, or because you're a man or a woman. That just doesn't go anywhere good. It doesn't lead anywhere good. And like I say, we're already starting to see it. We've already hit the inflection point to where now men are suffering because of it. Suicide rates are increasing. Male depression is increasing. Solitude is increasing. Men are going on less and less dates. Like, there's ramifications to all of this. And I just think, I think more people need to be aware of that. That at some point, everybody's going to have to ease off a bit. And at some point, I'm just going to say it, people are going to have to go back to how things were. And I'm not saying, go back to the 1930s where, whatever, women can't talk or vote or do anything, or they're barred from driving. That's crazy. But this major push to have women become men and men become women is a complete psyop. And I think most regular folk can see it. Just going to leave it there. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you disagree with me, let me know. And, we can chat in the comments. And if you're a guy and if you felt any of this, or, you just want to chat, let me know in the comments. And like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Hype it up if you want. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.